welcome to the all-new That Business Show 2.0. I am your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Today, we're talking about the ghostwriting business. So if you got a book in your mind and you just can't get it onto paper, then maybe you need to hire a ghostwriter to help you get your ideas from brain to paper. So Eli Gonzalez is with me in studio today. So Eli, welcome to the program today.
Thank you so much. I love being with you, Jamie. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
So the idea of ghostwriting, I mean, how many people out there utilize this technique to write their books?
You know, not enough, because the statistics say, Writer's Digest says that 230 million American adults say that they have a story in them. They're not all going to write their book. You know, there's two major reasons why people don't ever write their books. They don't have the time, especially if you're a business owner.
Right.
You're managing your business, running your life. You don't have the time to write a book. A book's quite time consuming. And the other thing is, even if they did have the time, let's say they can go to the mountains and actually get off of Facebook for a month
right.
or distractions, and it's just them and a typewriter there. They don't know the first thing on story arcing or how to write a story that's going to capture their essence and make it engaging, informative, or maybe even witty. You know, so they hire professional writers, and we take care of that for them. Basically, you know, we interview them and we write the story in their voice, through their perspective. We collaborate a lot. We bring a lot to the table. We do a lot of research, and we'll find statistics and surveys and all these things to support what it is they're saying. And we go ahead and we publish those books to the world.
Does it matter what type of industry the person is in? Because I mean, a lot of people are in a specific industry and they're talking medical jargon or architecture jargon. How do you, as a ghostwriter, put yourself in that mindset to be able to write that type of jargon?
Well, I mean, thanks to Google, everything's easily found and explained. But the people that tend to hire us, they're experts at what they do, and they really make it easy for us. And the thing is, people like that speak a higher level language, they actually, Jamie, they write the worst books.
Really?
They do, because it doesn't hit the common man.
Right.
People with doctorates write to people with doctorates, and not everyone enjoys reading a book like that, because they have to reread the previous sentence. Well, what did he say?
Yeah.
Man, these are big words. So I mean, so we kind of take people like that, and it's not that we dumb it down, the language, but we write it for the everyday reader.
I had an experience with an editor years ago. I've got a couple books that are partway done, and I sent it to an editor, and they sent it back to me completely as you were, simplified down, and it bothered me. It wasn't my voice anymore.
Yeah.
But as she explained it, she's like, this is how people want to read this. The way you write is way too technical. It was just way too difficult for the average reader to understand it. But that's just it was hard for me to get over.
You're one of those smart guys.
Right.
Professional writers, we know it works. We've been there, we know it works. And like I said, it's not that we dumb it down, we still leave some nice big words, but there's certain phrasing of it. There's restructuring of sentences that just makes it easier for the eyes, for the brain to just read it in an easy-going flow. And like you said, you felt like you probably lost your voice. We have a system where I know some ghostwriters, they do a great job, and they'll sit with you 2 times and they'll write your book for you.
Yeah.
I don't have that talent. For me, we basically meet our clients once a week, and we do chapter by chapter. That way, we're able to spend enough time with them to capture the distinctiveness of their voice. And that could be as easy as picking up on somebody saying, well, Eli, the caveat to that is, we pick up on that.
Yeah.
So then when their spouse reads it, it's like, wow, this really sounds like you wrote it. It's got your little sayings or phrases, like kind of or whatever.
How long is the typical book today for a business professional? How should they be structured?
Well, it all, professional writers, we work on word count, right? But the size of the book that you want is something that you can size up right before getting on a plane, and you think to yourself, I can read this during that 3-hour flight there and 3-hour flight back. Between that time, in that 6 hours, I probably got 4 hours I can read this in. Mm-hmm. So that's the size that you want. And it's basically going to be right around 160 to 200 pages.
Okay.
So in word count, I'm talking about 40,000 words is a sweet spot. Now, at 40,000 words, the actual page count can be manipulated through the publishing process. through typeset, through images and all that stuff. So, but 40,000 words is it good enough? It's a big enough book. It kind of has that thud effect, but it's not discouraging. Nobody wants to read a business book that's not like, motivational or whatever like that. That's War and Peace size.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Once the books are completed, does it matter if they're in paperback versus hardback? Is there an advantage to putting a book in hardback?
It's the hardback readers. It's going away. I mean, it does give you a little bit more credibility. But I will say, out of the 70 books that I've been blessed to help write, only 2 of them have ever been published with hardback capabilities. Nowadays, I mean, paperback is just fine.
Paperback. Now, if you're a novelist, maybe that's a different category. You don't want the hardback books, but for general business, just basic paperback. What's the cost of publishing a book? Is it an expensive venture once the book is written to publish the book? How does that work?
Well, there's a misconception now with publishing because of self-publishing. People think, okay, I'll self-publish and it's not going to cost me anything. I can upload it to CreateSpace for free, but it's really not correct. You're not right. You have to, if you can't do it yourself, hire someone to do your book cover design. Mm-hmm. Hire someone to typeset the book. You need to buy different ISBN numbers. Now, at Bowker.com, BOWKER.com, that's where you find the ISBN numbers. They have a monopoly on it. You can't get them anywhere else.
Right.
So it's like one of them is like $199 or something like that, and then it goes from a 1-pack solo to a 10-pack. Now you're paying hundreds of dollars, and here's the reason why. If you publish on Amazon and use an ISBN number there, you can't use that same ISBN number to be on Barnes & Noble and bookstores and potentially libraries and such, because Amazon doesn't play well with others. Mm-hmm. So you have to buy at least 2 ISBN numbers. So now you're thinking, okay, I'm going to self-publish. It's going to be free. It's not free because you probably don't know how to do all those things, typesetting and the graphics and all that stuff. And really, if you get somebody that's cheap, that doesn't charge you what they're worth or what the job is worth, it's going to hurt you in the sales cycle of it.
Right. So the different components of this, if you do it properly, the ghostwriter will help you write the book. The typeset, and you may do that also, helps you prepare the layout. Somebody to design the front cover and the back cover. What other roles do you need to have in the publishing of a book?
Well, and that's about it. They'll help you with the pricing. A good ghostwriter. Well, most ghostwriters are just lone wolves, right? And that's all they do. Once they finish writing your book for you, they have affiliate deals with different publishing companies, and then that's all they want to do, because publishing is a nightmare. Because you're married to the client there because of the royalties and all that other stuff. So a lot of the smart ghostwriters, they just write the books and just funnel you off. I'm not one of those smart guys. I'm actually a publisher as well. And so I'm married to my clients, something I'm reconsidering, by the way. No, but we do everything. I have award-winning typesetters, award-winning designers, and we get together, and but I'll tell you, writing a great book and have it look professional and getting it out there is only half the battle of raising your credibility. The other half is understanding how to leverage the fact that you are now an author in that industry. Without the right marketing strategy, you can have the best product, and a much lesser product can kick your tail in the open market because they have a better strategy.
I was interviewing our good friend Topher Morrison earlier this week, and he was talking about, before he was a professional speaker, and he was speaking before he had written a book, and he said he could only get $3,000 a keynote. Once he wrote his book, he was then able to get $10,000, no problem whatsoever. And I asked him what was the difference. I said, did you become a best-selling author? Was it all over the place that you were an expert? He's like, no, all I had to do is say, I'm an author of this book, and that was the credibility piece that I needed to help him get up to where he was.
I tell you, a book is powerful, incredibly so. A book doesn't open doors for your business. A book is a juggernaut. It smashes through walls. The perception that people have about you and how good you are at what you do, I mean, it's night and day, and every single one of my business clients have made a huge ROI since their book's been published for what they've paid us to write it and publish it. I'll talk on Elliot Marr, who's a good friend of mine, and I can say this because I have permission to say his name. Elliot doesn't sell a book, making a killing. he says to me, Eli, right now, he's financial advisor. I close probably 1 out of every 10 people. If we write a book, can it raise my closing ratio? And I said, no. But if we write a book and put the right strategy behind it, you could.
Yeah.
So he hired me. We had a great time. Boy, that book was a pain. Because for everything we said, the compliance
I was
department.
going to ask you about it. It's probably like,
Oh my God, it was a nightmare. You can't say that. You can't say that.
I deal with that when they come on my show too. Like, can you edit that? I wasn't supposed to say that.
Right. He's like, oh, we can't say that. You almost have to put a disclaimer. What I'm saying, if you follow it, doesn't mean you're going to accrue wealth. So we had to put a lot of anecdotes and stories into it, which is great because now it's a much funner read. But basically, the book was done, and it's so he pays me for the marketing part of it. Right, he puts the check there. I give a marketing strategy in writing to all my clients. So I give it to him. He looks at it and he says, and we had gotten along famously, and he says, Eli, I'm paying you for this? He didn't like it. And my back got sweaty, my ears were probably red, I reached for the check though, Jamie, I'm no fool, right? I reached for the check, I put it in my bag. Right. And I'm like, listen, give it a shot. He's like, but I'm not gonna sell a book. I said, but that's not what you said when we first interviewed. Let's stick to the course. This is what we wanted to do. So I said, if I'm going to keep the check, but I won't cash it. If it doesn't work for you in a month, either cancel the check or I'll give you another strategy, but just trust the process. He calls me up like 3 weeks later, and he's laughing. Eli, cash the check.
Yeah.
This thing is crushing it. People are coming here. Even my clients that I've had for a long time, all of a sudden realized they had an extra $50,000. And with him, his book, you go to his office now, his book is right here behind him.
Yeah.
He doesn't even mention it. They're going to mention it. When people come to his office for the first time, he's a good-looking guy. He's got like an awesome suit on. He's just leaning right in. So the whole tip was a strategy, was a script for him once people mentioned the book. And, Elliot's driving a brand new Maserati, and
all because of the book. And you're
he's very talented at what he does, and he's really, really good. But the book really helped him a lot.
And you can get your book written through Eli and his team. Go to theghostpublishing.com. Again, theghostpublishing.com for more information. So what about all those ghostwriters out there? How do they get recognized as being, people that can, write a book for you and your business? That's why he's come up with the International Ghostwriters Association, and that's what we're going to talk about when we come back from the break on That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. My guest today, Eli Gonzalez, president of the International Ghostwriters Association and also The Ghost Publishing. And then in that last segment, we were talking about how just writing that book can really elevate you and your brand, and learn more at theghostpublishing.com. But in this segment, I want to switch focus to this the association that you have founded that gives more credibility to the ghostwriters themselves. And you were explaining to me, you know, a problem that ghostwriters have in your business is you write all these great books, but due to contractual, you know, regulations, you can't tell people you wrote the books. Elaborate on this.
You're not going to be a very trusted ghostwriter if you betray your clients that want to tell the world that they wrote the book, and you're telling everybody else, no, you wrote the book. You know, so part of being a good ghostwriter is just having integrity. And without written consent, we can't talk about the books that we worked on. So as a result, I've worked on over 70 books, but there's about 35 of it. It's almost a split. There's only 35 that have my name in them. A few of them are on the front cover. It's called, you know, getting book cover credit, and I started that early when I started freelancing for credibility purposes. And also, but I'm on the acknowledgement section usually at the back.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Eli for helping me put my thoughts together. I read that, I'm like, man, I wrote this book.
Right.
You know, but yeah, so it's hard for a new writer to start with a lot of cachet, with a lot of credibility, because they might have done a book or two, but they can't say that they did. So how do you prove how good you are if you have no portfolio?
And up until now, there's no associations, there's no schools, there's no accrediting authorities out there that you would go to and say, I'm an accredited ghostwriter, these are my credentials. And so that's the venture that you're on now with the International Ghostwriters Association.
Yeah, you know, ghostwriting kind of fell in my lap. I did a favor for a friend who had submitted a manuscript. Once I helped him with the book, he resubmitted it, and to make a long story short, I started working as a ghostwriter, and that was my preparation for it. But there's no schooling for it. So once I started and it became my craft, I started, you know, I went to YouTube and everything, how to write a book, and tried to get some sort of credentials. There's nothing out there. Mm-hmm. I started my publishing company, and my ghostwriting business took off. I've had the Ghost Publishing for 3 years. We just started publishing 6 months ago because my ghostwriting service just exploded. All of a sudden, I started doing one book, two books. I started doing 5 books at a time. Jamie, we went up to 12 books at a time. We were humming. Yeah. And I ended up having to hire 21 different writers to help me with the demand.
Wow.
The ghostwriting industry and the ghost blogging industry is booming right now. It's exploding. And what happened was that some of the writers that really took to ghostwriting, some of them didn't pan out. Great writers when they wrote their own stuff, but to write for someone else's perspective, that's a different beast. That's a different form of writing. They didn't pan out. But the ones that were really good at it, and they went with me to networking groups, and I put them in a network group, and they ended up starting their own businesses. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like a little bummed out. I was like, you know, how am I going to grow? I have dreams. I want to go national. How do I get out of Tampa when my best writers just open up their own? And my wife said to me, kind of to console me, well, babe, you know, at least you've proven you can help someone start their own business. And that just worked on me for months. And then I said, yeah, you know what? There's no place out there. So I got together with some other ghostwriters, with some phenomenally talented people, very highly educated people, like Lucia Martin. She's got a master's degree in English. Dr. Crystal Gifford, KPI, you know, she was a college professor. Dr. Lauren Murfield's got his PhD in communication studies. Lil Barkowski, just an all-star team, and other ghostwriters that we won't be mentioning right now. And we've put together a 3-month course that will teach soup to nuts how to make a living as a professional writer, and the course is predicated on ghostwriting and ghost blogging. And so the International Ghostwriters Association is formed, and the first class starts in August 5th, and we are just so excited about it.
And that website, internationalghostwritersassociation.com, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Internationalghostwritersassociation.com. How long did it take you to put the coursework together? I mean, I've thought of a lot of times about designing courses, and, you know, as part of what I know, my expertise. How did you put the coursework together? Well,
you know, when you collaborate with other people, it's like whenever you're walking in a big group, you just tend to walk slower than when you're walking alone. Right. We're actually still in the process of it. Our beta testing group is starting in July. You know, we want to make sure that we answer every question. So we're still in the process of finishing it up. And this course is very cool because once you start, it's an online course, so you take it at your own leisure, but you're timed. And what I mean by that is you start the first module, you get a password for the first module, there's a video there, and there's a workbook with the first module, and that's there for a week. Should you pass it, you go to the second module. Should you not pass it, you can take that module again. Because, you know, we want to make sure that people that invest in themselves and take this course, that they know what we're teaching. In preparation for this, I took 2 different writing courses online. And I was disappointed because all they did was teach, teach, teach. I never got to write and submit to them so that they can grade to see if I had learned it.
Right.
With ours, we have Lucia Martin, who's got her master's in English. She's the professor on our course. Every module has homework, and we grade based on our rubric, so that when you graduate the course, not only are you certified through the International Ghostwriters Association, thus giving you the gravitas wherever you are to start your own lucrative writing business, but you know you passed it, you've understood it, because we've graded every part of it. And we're not trying to fail anyone. It's just that we're trying to pass everyone. So if you don't pass a module, just take it again. Just take it again until you pass.
Are there any prerequisites to applying for the coursework? Do you have to have a degree in English or writing, or what? Any prerequisites? For the program?
I would be very hypocritical if we needed a degree, being that I don't have a degree. After high school, I went to the Marine Corps. Some people are just innately born with writing talent. So there's no prerequisite like that. However, we interview them before they get in the course for a couple of reasons. We want it to be a good fit for both parties. We don't want to just take the money and run from somebody who really needs to polish up on their writing skills. This is for people that are decent writers, and so we have an interview process. And the other part is the success or the reputation of our course is going to be built on the work of our graduates. So we don't want any yahoos to just blow by it and write terrible stuff, and they say they're certified by our association. So there's an interview process there, but some people just they love to write. They would love to make a living as a writer, and you know what they do, Jamie? They become authors, and it's so much harder to make a living as an author than it is as a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
It's so much harder.
And you get some good paydays as a ghostwriter. I mean, it can be a very lucrative business. I don't want to disclose any fees or anything like that, but you're right. I mean, ghostwriting can be a very lucrative business for people who have that ability to write. But you got to have that side of you that says that doesn't take that the credibility, or not the credibility, but the credit for writing the book. Though, does that ever eat at you that you can't say that was my book? Really?
Yeah, it used to. When I first started,
is that part of the course where you listen? You're going to write these great books, but you got to be able to stay in the background. Can you do that?
We do talk about it. We do mention it. We want to let them know what they got going in, and to keep the integrity. For themselves, for their own businesses, and for our school. But yeah, there are best-selling books out there. They've been out there for 3 years since I've wrote it. I was a senior ghostwriter for a large global publishing company, and I wrote for ministry leaders that are internationally known, and I wrote for conservative political leaders, and those books are still crushing it. Yeah. And nobody knows I wrote it.
That's what I'm saying. How does that play into your goals and aspirations?
Yeah, the pay helps. The pay helps.
Right.
And it's not just the pay. I love basketball. I am now able to coach my son's basketball team. I am now able to go to all my daughter's events. If somebody's having a wedding or whatever, I can just jump on a plane and go, and it doesn't interrupt my work schedule. So there's that freedom also that comes with working for yourself as a writer, because not all of my clients are local to me anyway. I've written for people in Puerto Rico, in Chicago, in Texas, in Massachusetts. So it's just a very freeing life. Really.
Right, you can work from wherever. Work on a plane as long as you got a power source and a computer.
Yeah.
You can write and everything.
Half the time I don't need Wi-Fi. Half the time I turn off the Wi-Fi when once I got the notes there and I just want to write. Yeah, so I can just go anywhere. So people that are friends of me on Facebook, they'll see some of the pictures I post. I'm sitting there, on Clearwater Beach, writing away and just enjoying the sun and hearing the sound of the waves, and it's a beautiful thing.
Now, obviously, your writing focuses on blogging and non-fictional business type of pieces. But do people ever come to you with a fictional idea and say, "I'd like to write the story of, my idea about Harry Potter or something"?
Yeah.
Do they ever come to you with fictional ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I say I like to stay in my lane. we're very, very strong in business books and in faith-based books and biographies. I wrote a book for a Holocaust survivor. The book is called Undaunted. It's by far, I mean, it's extremely touching, and that's great to do. So we didn't do fiction until just recently. I always thought, writing someone's life is hard enough. Trying to write their imagination, oh my God, I don't want to touch that.
That's what I'm saying. It's a different form
Right.
of writing. Yes.
But we just started that now. A client just signed on for a 5-book deal on a Greek heroine during the times of the Greek mythology, and so now we're in that now, and it's a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
Very cool. Very cool.
And I personally, for fun, I'm writing a fantasy trilogy, so I love fiction.
Yeah.
It's just that my strength became, well, when I started, I was at nonfiction, and I love to write motivational books that inspire. Jamie, it's awesome, not just the pay, but the books that I've helped write. They've helped save marriages. They've encouraged people to start their own business, to follow their dreams. And there's something about that. I've been in sales for 22 years, corporate sales, B2B before then. You never get that kind of fulfillment in that job.
Right.
So now it's actually better pay and more free time and better fulfillment. So for those people that want to become a writer, it's as cool as you ever thought it would be. Check us out at the International Ghostwriters Association.
And you got your first class in August here that's starting up. So
August 5th, yeah,
Very cool.
we're excited. It's already filling up. We're really excited.
All right, International Ghostwriters Association.com. Also, you can learn more at theghostpublishing.com. So, Eli, good discussion today. Thank you so much for being in studio with me today.
You're the man. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you so much. And again, catch new episodes each weekday morning, 9 a.m. on thatbusinessnetwork.com. Please connect with us all across social media, and please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. It helps the program grow. So again, you've been listening to That Business Show 2.0. I'm Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.